All right, flashlight people, Thrunite came out with a brand new TT20, not to be confused with any of their other T20 or TC20, TH20. This is a new TT20, very nice little flashlight, very, very similar to the Olight M2r Pro Warrior, which is one of my favorites that's out there. So I thought to do an introductory video to this new Thrunite, I would include the M2r Warrior Pro, just so we could get an idea of different light colors, different light patterns, different lighting stages that happen. So I'm going to go through a lot of tests in here. Bear with me while I try to show you what this looks like at night. I have a couple problems with the forward switch as far as it wanting to come to the brightest and then continue to want to go brighter and not go dimmer. That's something that I've been dealing with this flashlight, although it's not horrible, it's just not been very precision. But I want you to watch that 5 minutes as much as you need to see what's happening. There are some good parts in there, but you'll see me fumbling through this light, and it's not from inexperience, it's just from what I've had to deal with this new light to try to get it to work. So stick with us. This light is absolutely impressive. This is the turbo mode on the Thrunite TT20. Now, looking at the camera, it definitely does not do this justice like normal. I'm solid 100 yards away from the shop, and the amount of light that is simply thrown out is awesome. 2,500 lumens, 16,000 candela, just amazing. I'm going to give this a second here. I'm just going to turn this light off and pull out of my other pocket the Olight M2r Pro, one of my favorites also. Very cool. Very, very cool. A different style of light, especially when you get out. I can see a long distance with this, but just different when we go back over to the Thrunite TT20. It's a very large amount of light that just shines out in so many different directions. In it, if spill is the proper word, it is a very powerful floodlight. There is no spot. It is simply everywhere. And I know the camera is not picking up the distance. Maybe I can get the trees here to start to show you, but I have trees out of the back of the property that are a solid 300 yards away. I am lighting them up like mad. I need to get some way of getting the camera to pick up just the simple amount of light that is thrown. And if we walk a little bit closer, we can once again show the difference between this and the this TT20 and the Olight M2r Pro. And I hate to say it, I still love some features on the Olight, and I will go over that. But this TT20 does have a tail switch, it does have a forward switch. While we're here, quickly, this is the turbo mode. I'm fumbling it around. You can see we have the battery indicator here. If I want to go through the modes, this is an infinity light. I'm going to turn it off and turn it on by this forward switch just because it's easier for me to go through the modes. If I push and hold, it's going into a strobe. There's turbo by double clicking. It's at its brightest. Why can I not get this to dim? There we go, down to its dimming right there. So it's infinity dim, and it will blink when it gets to the top. So the infinity dim does not show up That might show it better. It's still pretty bright. It'd be a great flashlight for close up, but this is not like modes, and I don't understand why this light is not completely working with me when I push the button. It's sometimes just telling me I'm at my lowest position or I'm at the highest. So that's high. Double click, there's turbo. I'll go over the amount of time that it'll go through, but shutting this off, here is the Olight M2r Pro turbo. I see a cooler light, a little more yellow out of the Olight, which is interesting to me. Much more white out of the Thrunite. Look at the camera here. Switch. Thrunite is definitely brighter. The Olight's more of a spot. Both are very, very similar. Again, this is the Olight looking out. I can see a lot of the same with the Olight as far as distance. The Thrunite just seems to spill it out in a more of a floodlight way. Let's do some more testing inside. Operation of both the Thrunite TT20 and the Olight Warrior M2r Pro are very similar. They both have a forward switch that has a battery indicator on it, and they both have a tail switch. But that's about where their similarities end. The tail switch on the Thrunite is going to put you in the turbo mode. That's 258 meters throw, 2526 lumens, 16,650 candela max. It's on this for 2.5 minutes and then it drops off. Basically from here, I have not had luck using the forward switch. It just doesn't seem to let me do anything. But if I turn the light on from the forward switch, I can then double click into turbo. I can triple click into strobe, and then I can push and hold and it will infinitely drop down, and when it gets to the bottom it'll flash 3 times. And then if I push and hold it again, that's my issue that I have once in a great while, it will not want to come up, or at the top it'll just flash that I'm at the top. And I think that could be the speed in which I'm using it, but it has an infinite adjustment in between. That's the basics of this light, which work very well. I can click it onto turbo and click the whole light off on the back. It's interesting, but it's a different operation than I'm used to. The pocket clip here is removable. I've even run this pocket clip in the back section, which I don't know if that's really great, but it gets a little deeper in your pocket while you're hunting. So that worked a little bit more for me. The charging port is up front, USB-C, and it does have a 21700 battery in the back that is 5 amp hour. So you could remove this and actually charge it if you wanted to. Now the Olight M2r Warrior Pro is different in the tail switch, where once this light's on, you can operate it from the tail switch, which turns it on if you push hard into turbo, but you can then use the front light to turn on anything. Both have a memory. This is basically its Firefly mode. And it's where we were the last time we used it. We're on high, turbo, and if I push lightly on the back, it'll come on at a medium. And that's a push light where it's just on and I can let it off. Or if I push hard, it'll go on turbo and stay on. If I push soft quickly, it'll stay on. There's a lot of differences, including that magnetic charger on the back. All good, all a matter of what you get used to, but both of these lights are similar, but also very different. When we look at LED flashlights, we always get questions on how long does it last either on turbo and then drop down, or how long does it keep its max lumens? Is it more than a few seconds? Can you see the light turn on really bright and then drop down? And what I wanted to try here is to shoot these lights at the garage door, and then speed up the video over the 10-minute period of time that we recorded them to show you when they drop down, how much they drop down, and I'm hoping that that becomes very apparent through that sped up video, and we can see not only when they drop down from turbo, but then also if there is a lumen decrease in the first 10, 15, 20 seconds of use. I'm hoping that this 10-minute demonstration here sped up really shows that well. Both of these lights have just run for 10 minutes. You can see the heat signature that was been left from both lights on the table. This is the Thrunite TT20. 94 degrees in its hottest spot. The Olight M2r Pro 97. Olight being a couple degrees warmer. That's all gonna probably depend on also how bright each light was at the time of it shutting off after 10 minutes. So realistically here, there's not a huge change in or huge difference in the temperature of either one. So that's not gonna make anyone any more or less comfortable or uncomfortable using these lights. Both the Thrunite and the Olight are both IPX rated, so they'll take a 2-meter drop or 1 meter of water. We'll turn both these guys on, drop them. I have zero, I don't believe that either one of these is going to crack or have any issues with the fall, other than the Thrunite just threw off its metal clip, which to me is no big deal. These are gonna both take the beating and then still work. And this Olight's been thrown around a lot more than what we just did this Thrunite, and it continues to work just fine. And I have the same faith in this Thrunite. When we look at fit and finish, they both look very similar, but I'm gonna give props here to Olight for doing a little bit more on the crenulated bezel. Just in general, having a bit more smooth, but yet more knurled and a better grip per se. This is much more of a tactical flashlight in my opinion, but at the same point the Thrunite does throw out a little bit better light. So two different flashlights in a way, both very similar but probably used for different situations. And I know a lot of people aren't real thrilled with the MCC magnetic charging port on the back, and you can't plug the Olight in to a USB port, but this is your only way of charging unless you actually remove the battery. And I've actually heard a lot of people that won't use this port because they don't want to wreck the rubber piece. I know they make more of them, but I get that. So they actually remove the battery to charge it. And in that case, you can do that to both flashlights without issue. Both the Thrunite and the Olight are both great lights. They both have good specs. They both work great. Slightly different in how they push the light out. It's a little bit more of a flood when you're looking at the Thrunite compared to the Olight, and I think that part comes through in the video, but there's also quite a bit of light that surrounds that from both lights that doesn't show up as well in the video. Less of a spotlight on the Thrunite, which you can see that in the max throw of 258 meters. Basically, I've been using both of these in hunting. I put one in one pocket, one in the other, and I pull one out and see, does it matter what one I pull out and I'm using, if I'm going to, want to pull the other light out or not. And I switch it around and use different ones. And the reality is it comes down to what you're used to. I love the tail switch on the Olight where I can push it and it's on and then it's off, because I can turn that light on quick, turn it off, no issue. When I hit the tail switch on the Thrunite, I'm on turbo mode, and while I can gently push on and off, I'm on turbo mode. That's the only one that's really there. The only way it picks up and remembers its memory of what you used is with the forward switch. So, and I have actually locked myself out on this Thrunite. So if you push it for a while and hold it, it turns into firefly mode. If you push and hold again here, it physically locks you out. It turns red up there. So then when you go to use it, you have a red light. And I thought the first time that happened, I was thinking that the battery was dead. But you have to push and hold the front light again, and then you click the back light and it's on. So you can easily get out of those modes. It's just different between the two. And there's a lot more that you can do with the Olight as far as changing what the rear tail switch does. But either way, these are how I use the lights. And to me, the medium light being able to be turned on and turned off is a huge plus to the Olight. But the way the light dissipates out of the TT20 is also very nice. When you're hunting, you just have to think about what switch you're going to use rather than just pulling it out and pulling the tail switch on. It is what it is on that section. It's going to be a matter of how you're going to use the light, right? I'm just trying to explain it to you as far as how I use it. Olight still, the Warrior M2r Pro is still by far one of my favorite lights that's out there. The Warrior Mini coming in as the second. When I pull out the Thrunite, I love the way this works, but I'm really digging their A6 Catapult. That thing has some amazing throw, and when I need that for long distance use, that is the light that I go to 90% of the time. This one's new, so I'm going to see how it fits in with the other lights, where it gets picked up, where it ends up. But as of now, both of these two are what I carry everyday hunting, which is a little bit overkill because you don't use a flashlight that much. But the firefly mode works really great when you're leaving the blind or just checking things out or want to read something once it gets really dark, just see what's happening. And both of them have it, and both of them work quite well. So I appreciate you guys spending some time here watching this video. I'm looking forward to any questions you have. Leave them below. I'll answer them on any part of this light. I'm hoping that some of these tests really come through in the camera, because I know I can't show you everything as far as how it looks when I'm walking around at night. I wish I could get that a little bit more crisp and a little bit more as to what you're going to see in real world. At least 3 times better, if not more, that you should expect from turning this on when it's in front of you than what you see over the camera. It's just disappointing to have to show you that. But again, I appreciate your time, guys. Give me a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, have a great day.